Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good evening. Hello, whatever, where you are. I hope you are doing well. About me, I'm very, very tired today. I went to sleep pretty earlier than usual, which was just past 11 p.m. and I went to bed and I spent some time seeing my iPhone, which is not good. This is not a good thing for you to do before going to bed, right? After going to bed. You shouldn't watch your iPhone just before going to sleep, right? It's not good. Why? Because it makes you awake. It makes you wide awake. But I make it a rule. I kind of make it a rule to see my iPhone, to read some articles on some web sites. But it didn't take long because I was really sleepy and tired. Almost all day long, I was doing my Spanish tasks. Practices offered by the book written by Mike Ben. The book I have been talking about a lot in recent videos. And by the time I went to bed, I was already very sleepy and tired. So I decided to go to bed earlier than usual. And anyway, if I hadn't gone to the bed that earlier than usual, I thought that I wouldn't be able to wake up the next morning, which is this morning. And it was okay for me to go to bed earlier than usual, and I actually started falling asleep peacefully, just as I had expected. But I had to wake up after probably an hour later. And I always do this somehow. I always wake up in the middle of the night just after falling asleep. 1 hour after I actually fell asleep. I wonder why. Maybe this is called sleep deprivation or something like that, which could often happen to older people, I guess. And I don't know why this kind of thing can happen to older people, but okay, it has been happening to me very often. It's one of my sleep problems. And then for about 15 minutes or so, it always happens to me, so I'm used to it. So I don't think that it's such a big problem, or I don't know. It's such a big problem. There is another way of saying this, right? Make a big deal. Okay, I'm not trying to make it a big deal. Because it always happens to me and I'm used to it. And after 15 minutes or so, I tried to close my eyes, and I waited until I would fall back to sleep. And I did. But it was about 4:30 a.m. I suddenly woke up, probably because I wanted to go to the toilet. And I couldn't put up with it any longer, so I had to wake up anyway. And I went to the toilet, and then it was cool enough outside, the temperature. By the time I woke up at 4:30 a.m., because I wanted to go to the toilet, the temperature outside was cool enough without the air conditioner, and actually I turned it off. I turned the air conditioner off just before. No, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Okay, let me say it again, all over again. Okay, by the time, I woke up at around 4:30 because I wanted to go to the bathroom. And then I realized that the temperature inside the room, the room temperature was a bit cooler than I wanted, and the air conditioner was on, so I decided to turn it off. But I know that turning off the air conditioner, if you turn the air conditioner to cool your room temperature down, if you are using the air conditioner as a cooler, not a heater, this is very important, okay? You shouldn't turn it off suddenly. If you turn your cooler suddenly, then the cool air inside the air conditioner will heat up. I can explain it scientifically, but I heard that if you turn the cooler off suddenly, it'll make your cooler, inside your cooler or air conditioner, damp, which causes mold, which is not good for your air conditioner. And in fact, my air conditioner already has mold inside, which is not very good for your health, right? So in order to avoid to make your air conditioner make it have mold inside, you shouldn't turn the cooler function off suddenly. But to avoid this, you have to use a heater instead for an hour after using a cooler. So in this case, you should use a timer for an hour so that the heater will be turned off 1 hour later. But can you think of turning on a heater instead of a cooler in the middle of summer? Yeah, I can't. And the lowest temperature for the heater is 16 degrees. And when I use a cooler function for my air conditioner, I always make it at 26 or 27 degrees Celsius for a cooler, okay? And for a heater, the lowest temperature is 16 degrees. So why not I use the lowest temperature to use the heater to avoid mold for my air conditioner? Yeah, that's the only way I can take to avoid causing mold. I can't say it in English now. Okay, making my air conditioner moldy. So that's why when I woke up at around 4:30 this morning, I turned on the heater. I switched the air conditioner to a heater from a cooler, and I set a timer for an hour, and I wanted to go back to sleep afterwards. But actually, I couldn't fall back to sleep. I don't know. I was wide awake. So I listened to some Spanish YouTube videos while I was lying on the bed, hoping I would fall back to sleep. And now I think that you might be hearing my dogs panting because they are somehow very excited to see me. They thought that they might think that they might be thinking that I might take them for a walk. And my dogs understand the word walk. So when I'm pronouncing this word, I've said this word twice at least in this video just now. And every time I say this word, they seem to be very excited because they understand what the word means, and it's a very good connotation for them. So dogs are very smart animals and they understand words. And I heard that for larger dogs like golden retrievers, they are like 3-year-old human child. They have the brain for 3-year-old human child. And for smaller dogs like the ones I have, like Pomeranian and Pomeranian mix breed, they say that they have a brain for a 2-year-old child. So they understand many things happening around us. So it's very dogs are very cute and adorable, and my dogs are good friends of mine. Okay, so that's why I couldn't fall back to sleep for an hour or so, and I thought that I could get up that time, like 5:30, and it was already bright outside, but it was very silent. I couldn't see anyone walking in my neighborhood. My house is actually located very close to a train station, but still it was too early for the trains to come and go, so I couldn't see anyone walking from the station and walking to the station also. And the air was very clean, and I really love that time of the day, just after dawn, and I prefer times even before the dawn though, and because I used to work that time out just after I got divorced with 3 daughters. I had to work from very early in the morning to deliver steamed rice used for sushi to supermarkets. Of course, supermarkets were closed at the time of the day still. It was very, very early in the morning and it was still dark outside. And I started working at around 2 a.m. and I would finish working at around 8. And I stopped by my house while I was working. I stopped by secretly because I was working in my neighborhood. I was driving, and I would stop by my house so that I could prepare breakfast for my daughters. So it was a perfect job for me as a mother with children. I was able to work and I was able to stop by my house to prepare breakfast for my kids, and I was able to visit my children's schools every time they had events. It was a perfect job, and I worked for the job for 5 years, and then I switched the job to a clinical job, which was my very first white-collar job, though. And it was a trading company, and I decided to switch the jobs because it was just before I was turning to 40, and the previous job, which was a driver's job, was very hard. It's a physical work. I had to bring lots of heavy boxes back and forth to deliver, and I hurt my back, and I had to take a rest to recover every day, every week. And so before it would get too late for me to so before I would damage my health, I thought that it would be a good idea to change jobs. And I chose the white-collar job for the first time in my life because that was the time, that was high time. I thought I had changed. No, I can't make this sentence. It was the high time for me, I thought. Because I was going to be 40 soon. And I chose the trading company because I thought that for that job, I thought I would be using my English skills to some extent. I think I must have been talking about this thing, my job, my last salaried worker job. I don't know. This is the last job that I had to be paid. And after that, I started working, and I became my own boss, and I started selling goods at auction sites, which led me to open my website later on. So where was I anyway? Yeah, I couldn't sleep last night, this morning. And somehow I fell back to sleep, fortunately. But I just slept for about, 2 hours, less than 2 hours. I was still sleepy. I really wanted to sleep more, but just as usual, my dogs started waking me up by licking my face. And one of my dogs, which is a more nasty one, named James. He's a Pomeranian. He's 6 years old now. Cream-colored one. Started barking at me. Because he does it to get my attention. He's not a very good boy. And anyway, I had to feed them for the first thing in the morning today, especially because I have an appointment for their teeth. Okay, every week, twice or 3 times a week, I take them to the trimming salon to have their teeth brushed. And now I have a subscription member for their plan, for their, I don't know how to say this. Okay, for them. I was offered to start the subscription. I paid 11,000 yen for 2 dogs for 13 times. Okay, and it's very economical. I love the system. It is just started and they are just trying to see how it works actually. And I'm the first customer to try that subscription actually, because I decided to take them to have their... Did you hear the noise just now? I wanted to talk about this too, actually, because that noise has been obvious, more obvious these days, and I have always wondered where that sound was coming from. And I think it started being that obvious for the last several days or so. I didn't used to notice it a long time ago. And just the day before yesterday, I happened to find out where the noise, the terrible noise, creaky sound, nasty sound coming from. At that time, the day before yesterday, I was in the living room where I always study. I spend most of my time, and I heard that noise coming from outside. And by the time I heard that noise, I had been listening to that noise very often. So I couldn't put up with it anymore, and I decided to find it out what the noise was all about. And I opened the window of the balcony, which is only 2 meters from here, 2 or 3 meters from where I always sit on my chair. And I walked to the window and opened the window of the balcony, and I stepped out of the balcony to stand in a place where I could see outside clearly. And I thought that there might be a car just getting out of somewhere in my very close around my house. because the noise just happened a little while ago, just now. So, but that was funny because that was weird because I wasn't able to find any car getting out of somewhere. And I wondered actually what the noise was all about. I didn't understand that. I was so puzzled. I was puzzled. And I was upset. I was grumpy. I was in a bad mood. And I probably said, not on purpose, but by mistake, something like, what was the noise? It was so annoying, or something like that, to myself, without realizing it. Okay, but I think that I must have said something like that. And actually, noise turned out to be coming from the house just across my house. There is a house just across from the very narrow street in front of my house, and there are two similar houses next to each other, and one of the house, which is on the left side, has a car parked, okay, and in front of the car there's a thing, rectangular thing to put on the ditch. Is it okay? Ditch, okay. To level of the I don't know. Okay, it's a very shallow ditch, but since it's not leveled, they have to put on something. Put something on it so that I don't know how to say this. It's like a bridge. Okay, it's a very flat bridge, and so that when they take out the car, when they get the car out from the parking lot, there's a parking lot just next to the house. It's a very small space, but it's big enough. It's big enough to park their car, and every time they get their car inside the parking lot, or every time they get their car out of the parking lot, their car have to step on the thing, square thing they put to make the ditch flat. Okay, it's like a lid. Okay, and nowadays we can find something to use it to cover the ditch. Is like a ditch. Ditch at home centers or stores. Okay. Oh, my dogs are getting too excited because they can't wait any longer, and then they started threatening me by moving around a lot, and one of the dogs even starts barking at me like this to appeal, to get my attention, to haste me. Okay, anyway, and nowadays we can buy that thing to use for that purpose at the stores, and most of the things are made of plastic or silicone or something like silicone. Is that okay? Silicone. Is there any word we call it silicon in Japanese, but it doesn't sound like the original English word that I want to pronounce here, right? Completely different, right? Because we put vowels between each syllable. So silicon might sound silicon, and we pronounce S sound a bit differently. So my pronouncing this word silicon in Japanese doesn't sound like this, right? Okay, anyway. So if you use that thing made of plastic, it doesn't make such huge noises when your car steps on that thing. But if it is made of iron or some kind of metal, it causes a huge noises. I don't know which. Okay, much noise, a lot of noise. And that is the cause of the problem. And I understood that because my father, who passed away 4 years ago, used to say something like this because he was bothered by this kind of noise when neighbors made it. And every time he was upset, he was disturbed by this kind of noise made by some of my neighbors. I mean, the sound of the iron plate stepped on by a car. Every time some of my neighbors try to get their car out from their parking lot, my father often said to me that, "Oh, did you hear the noise? It was from our neighbor, and it was kind of disturbing." And at the time, I didn't care much about it. I didn't care as much. I didn't pay as much attention to it as my father did. So I thought, who cares, or something like that. But now I understand how my father might have been feeling. Once you notice it, and you start feeling that it's such a big deal, you can stop thinking about it. You can be obsessed with it even. And for them, me thinking about it this much seems to be a bit crazy. And I think that I am somewhat crazy because all I can do is keep the window of the balcony shut all day long and try not to care about it, try not to notice it every time I hear the noise. But actually, the day before yesterday, when I stepped out of the window, balcony, I stepped out to the balcony to see what was happening in the neighborhood where the noise was coming from. I probably said something nasty to myself. I mean, I was talking to myself, but I didn't even realize that I was doing it. I was saying something. Okay. But probably that neighbor, the neighbor that actually was the one who made that noise, The house is just across from my house, and there is a narrow road like 2.5 meters wide, very narrow road just between our house and their house. And they are kind of new in our neighborhood. Actually, a family used to be living in that house, and it was a family that looked very happy, and like the father and the mother, and they had 2 daughters, little daughters, okay, and they even had a small dog. I didn't realize that they were having a small dog at first, though, and then some years ago, but the father actually was a bit weird man. In those days, at that time, it was about 5 or 6 years ago, just when I started having dogs, though. It was the year 2017. I remember the father was riding on a skateboard or something, and playing it, or playing, I don't know, he was getting on it and running quite fast in my neighborhood, and I never saw anyone riding on a skateboard, even a teenager or even a child. I never saw even a child riding on a skateboard. Okay, but it was a man in his 30s riding on a skateboard. I've never seen someone like that in my neighborhood in my whole life. So it just shows that that father was a bit eccentric man. Yeah, interesting to some extent, though. Okay, anyway, and once I thought that was a very happily married couple with 2 children. And then one day I noticed that I couldn't see the family anymore, but instead I often saw the father alone with a little dog. And their house looked the same, and there was a car, kind of big one, van, okay, for a big family. But I never, how can I say? I no longer saw the whole family together. Okay. And the man, I often saw the man walking his small dog in my neighborhood. And my daughter and I started wondering what might be happening to the family. And one day, the man, and we guessed that they had divorced. And at that time, the man was the only person who was living in the house with that small dog. And I wondered what happened to the happily married couple and happily looking family. It's sad, right? And then the man moved away from the house, moved out of the house, and the house was on sale. Okay, the house started on sale. And then new family came. This time, a young couple in their 30s probably, with a little children. No, one daughter, little child, and a baby. And I don't know when the baby was born, even after they moved into the new house, or before or after, I don't know. Okay, anyway. And I often hear now the baby crying a lot. That baby is no longer a baby now. He or she is a bit older, a bit bigger, like 2-year-old. But he's pretty, a bit loud and nagging. Is it okay, nagging? But the older child, older daughter, was a very bright child. Bright and I don't know how to say it, talkative. But the younger one was a bit difficult to deal with, probably. I've been there, I've done that, because my third daughter was that kind. She was pretty difficult to deal with, to raise. That was probably because of me, partly. Huge part of it is because of me, I guess, because I'm the mother. I should have given more love to her. She was wanting more love from me, I guess. That's why she was difficult. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, and the couple, right? Is quite new to this neighborhood, and they once said hi to us. They visit our house to say hi, because new people, customarily, new people to the neighborhood, not have to, but they come to all the houses in the neighborhood to say hi, to introduce themselves. And they did to us too. They brought something, some sweets or something. And so I've seen the wife and the husband also, but husband looked a bit bossy, and the wife was a very sweet and very not talkative type, silent. Okay. And so where was I actually? It was a long story, right? And I understand where the noise is coming from. And it was the house in front of me, and a young couple, and they know that they were making that noise. They are aware that they are making that noise themselves. And I'm not really sure if they think that's okay. But on the same day, just after I stepped out to the balcony to see what was happening, where the noise was coming from, they probably noticed me saying something toward the noise from the the first floor, on the ground. They are standing on the ground just next to their car, because at that time I thought that the noise caused because a car close to my house get out from somewhere. But actually, the car in that house got back to their parking lot, and then it caused the noise. And then I said something on my balcony without knowing it, and they heard me say so, and probably they might have seen me on the balcony looking down on the ground, looking out around the neighborhood, saying some nasty words, okay? And they thought that their noise was the cause of me doing such a thing, and they realized then that their noise was the cause. Anyway, so they are now aware of the noise, but I'm not really sure if they should do something about it. They will do something about it, because it's been a few days since then. They witnessed me staying on the balcony saying something toward the noise, and they realized that they're causing the noise, and I heard them saying something like, should we do something about this one, or something like that, looking at the metal thing, iron thing. So they know that, okay, but I'm not sure they will do something about it. I really hope that they will do something about it. Just they try to replace it with another one made of plastic or silicone, which pronunciation I don't know how to pronounce yet, though. But it's more peaceful if it would be more peaceful if they did that. But I cannot ask them to do it because I'm just one of the neighbors, and if other neighbors would be feeling the same way, and we would cooperate with each other and try to tell them, it would be okay. But if I'm the only one who has been disturbed by the noise, and is it okay for me to tell them to do something about the noise so that it won't happen again? It no longer causes a noise. I don't know what to do, but I really hope that they're sensitive enough, they are responsible enough, they are considerate enough to deal with it as soon as possible, or it'll make me feel crazier. It'll make me crazier. Do you think that I am asking them too much? I'm hoping too much or more than enough? I'm not sure. I might be a bit sensitive. I might be a bit too sensitive about the noise. Yeah, I'm sensitive about noises, lights, sounds, smells, and something. it all came from my having what was that? Avoidant personality disorder and also attachment disorder, I guess. I can be obsessed with something, and I'm very sensitive. I pay close attention. I tend to pay close attention to my surroundings. Okay, I think it's time for me to walk my dogs now, and it's cloudy today, so it's okay for me to not to be in a hurry to walk my dogs. As I have been keeping saying these days in these recent videos that if the temperature is too hot for us, we should walk early, but today is an exception, which is good. All right. Okay, I'll come back tomorrow. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful day today. Bye-bye.